What other Brazilian aircraft could actually be added right now without too much effort? Hello guys, once again, it's Matt. Thank you all the members and patrons, make sure to subscribe. And I had to do a video about this, just a small disclaimer, sorry about the sound in this video. For some reason, it just didn't record the sound. We're flying with the F5E with a Brazilian skin, old Brazilian skin. Very, very cool to have the A1A being added to the game right now. And of course, there are multiple aircraft that we can have, and since they added the AMX as a premium aircraft and no sub 3 or full 3 with the Brazilian Air Force as is, they probably will end up adding these aircraft for now at least as premium aircraft. So what are 3 options of aircraft that could actually be added right now as premiums or as event vehicles or anything like that? We start off with the A1, but not the A1 that you already will have in the game, the A1M. This is the modernized A1, basically the same aircraft but modernize it. It would be very, very cool to see this for Italy as a higher tier premium or event vehicle or something like that, or even in the Tech 3, you know. But yeah, higher tier because new HUD, new HOTAS, new MFD, so a glass cockpit, new RWR, new nav system obviously, but the main thing would be a new weapon systems together with some very interesting things. An HMD, the Dash 4, very modern HMD made by the Israelis. A Mectron SCP-01 radar, which is a normal mechanical radar, but it is very modern. It has air-to-air, air-to-ground modes, naval modes, pulse Doppler, medium PRF, ground mapping, made to be good against naval and ground targets, as I said. And it can use the Piranhas, of course, but the same like guided stuff and everything like that. But other missiles like the A-Darter in theory, and even technically the AR-1, which is a Brazilian development anti-radiation missile that I think got cancelled very like in the last couple of years, you know, but still it would be an interesting missile if they ever add anti-radiation missiles as well. So it would be a very cool version of the A1 and kind of a higher tier version of it with better missiles, better aircraft performance in the sense of air-to-ground capability and air-to-air capability, but at the end of the day the same aircraft. So yeah, very, very cool aircraft, and I hope we have that. The second one would be the Tucano. The Tucano is a Brazilian-made aircraft that is basically a light attack aircraft, okay? Here in Brazil, we used for many things. The main purpose on the Air Force is to patrol the border, you know, fight contraband, basically, of drugs and other things, especially because normally they do use for that slower aircraft like Seneca or Cessnas, stuff like that, right? So a jet would be too fast to fight those. So it is very much used to patrol the border, basically, for that type, against that type of aircraft or little boat or even ground contraband, right? You know, illegal runways in the middle of the Amazon, stuff like that. So it's an aircraft that it's made to fight, basically like civilian aircraft that are doing illegal stuff, right? So very, very cool. It is a very light aircraft, PT6 engine, Pratt & Whitney. It's not going to be the most amazing thing ever, but it is a very high tier prop aircraft. I mean, it can use air-to-air missiles like the Piranha and stuff, but I don't think it would be very useful like that. It would probably normally be just used as a very advanced prop and trainer in the highest ranks of props that you would still see props. Of course, they can add a Piranha and have like a very high tier prop, like a, I don't know, a 9.0, 10.0 even. I mean, because of the Piranha, right? But it wouldn't make a lot of sense. It would better to be just a 7.0, some like 6.7 kind of prop. But anyway, it would still be a very cool aircraft to have. Which country? Well, it depends. I mean, it's built, and it doesn't have anything from other countries that it's like the majority of the aircraft. There are some little things here and there that make it up for an US aircraft, like for example the Pratt & Whitney. It's on a Canadian engine, right? So, or American Canadian, right? So it might be more towards Canadian. I think the HUD is from another country, so like it's more of a maybe because of the engine could go to the US Tech 3. But no matter what, it would be cool. And the last one is the F5EM. I have to talk about the F5EM, guys. I don't know if you know this, but the F5EM is one of the most modern F5Es in like F5s in the world. You know, it's a very, very interesting aircraft because it would be a top tier or close to top tier aircraft. It would be a 12.3, 12.7 aircraft. Why? Well, that's the thing. It has a new electronic warfare system, the Grifo F radar, very modern radar. Nothing too fancy, but it's a very modern radar. Air-to-air refueling system was reworked, INS GPS-based navigation, support for new weapons, targeting and self-defense systems, a new HOTAS, LSD displays, helmet-mounted displays, of course, the HMDs, right? I think it's the same as the A1. If I'm not mistaken, it's the -4. Radar warning receivers being a new one, encrypted communications to the AWACS systems, compatibility to use night vision goggles, a new onboard oxygen generation system, and various new onboard computer upgrades. So basically it's a whole different inside the aircraft upgrade to it, right? So it's basically bringing everything that a 4th gen would have in a 3rd gen jet. It's like an F4F ICE, but even better because it was made later, right? It can use the Lightning 3 pod, so air to ground would be better. You know, it would be more efficient and, you know, just overall better. It would have a multi-mode radar, so the Grifo F is a radar that can detect ground targets, naval targets, ground mapping, everything like that, pulse Doppler of course. So it would be a much upgraded radar from the original F5E, and with that it can actually use the Derby missile. So it would use Fox 3 missiles. It can only normally use 4 pylons, okay? So the 2 and the wings would be for IR missiles, and then the 2 below the wings would be for the Derbies. So it's not a lot of missiles, but still it is pretty cool to have that. Derby missile being one of the best missiles that we will have in the game in the next patch, so very, very cool. And of course for IR missiles, it can use the Python 3, of course, but also the Python 4. So initially it could be added as with the Derby and Python 3, but in the future, of course, with the Python 4 when it's added to the game. It's already in the file, so it would be added along that. In theory, it can even be possible to be used with the R-Darter, but the Derby is more logical to be added, you know, because we never used the Darter in that aircraft, but at the same time, in theory, could, right? So yeah, guys, these are 3 aircraft that I think could be added. The AMX could be in the Italian Tech 3 as well, because it is majority Italian aircraft, right? The Tucano could be an US aircraft, but it could be UK, it depends, but I would think that the US could be having it in a better sense. And the F5EM is kind of complicated, you know, because all of these systems, they're not US, but the aircraft is US made, right? So the Grifo radar, everything like that, they're from other countries, and the missiles Israeli, so it could even be added as an Israeli aircraft because of the weapon systems, HMDs, and even the Grifo radar. I have to check, but I know it's Italian. Yeah, the Grifo is Italian, but yeah, so it's like all over the place with the countries. So I don't know, the F5EM could be added as an Italian because of the radar, as an Israeli because of the weapon systems, or American because of the aircraft itself, you know. So you tell me, what do you think? But yeah, guys, since we probably will not see a Tech 3 for the Brazilians, I demand as a Brazilian that we see these 3 aircraft. The AMX, I understand we just got the I mean, we didn't even get the A1A yet. We're gonna get in the patch. But the F5EM, it would be a perfect event vehicle, premium vehicle, or even a high-tier vehicle to help certain nations. So, you know, Italy, for example, it could use some help with an F5EM. Is it the best place to put it? I don't know. I would still think that as an event vehicle, it would make more sense. But still, it would be cool. And the Tucano, I mean, it's just... it's a cool aircraft. I mean, it's a... like... a DEA aircraft, basically, right, for us. So it's cool to have it, even if it's going to fight P-51s. That would be very funny to see, but still. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if you would like to see these 3 Brazilian aircraft as events, premiums, everything. And yeah, what is the aircraft that would you like to see as a Brazilian aircraft in a game that it's not these 3? See ya, guys. Bye. Subscribe.